Hi! So today we are going to do a new build, but not just any build, because as I was putting together the parts list for all of this today, I realized that the amount of money, the total cost of all of the components is very close to a very specific number, which I will now recklessly use to clickbait the crap out of this video. So instead of doing just a Xilence Breeze build, which was actually planned for today because I need B-rolls for the case, we are going to do the 1000 euro budget PC, which, it's very convenient. So, okay, instead of just talking about it, let's get to it. We have the Xilence Breeze, which is a very interesting case. It's not like the most high quality standard you can imagine, of course not. It's a very budgety case, but it's somewhat equal to things like the, Montag X3, I believe? Was that Montag? Yeah, I think it was Montag. Montag X3, like a case ready to go, full of fans. Like this one is, we have 4 fans, 3 of which are in the front ARGB, and the back one, which is just a regular black fan, which funnily enough, I can see it has like written on it, black fan. Why would you do that? We have a tempered glass side panel, a very airflowy mesh front panel, which is very good. And all of that good stuff, considering the price point we are paying for it. If I remember correctly, it's going for like 60 bucks in Europe, which is amazing for what you get. Definitely worth considering if you're doing a budget build, which we are doing today. How convenient. As for the other components, I wanted to go with a Ryzen 5600X because it's still a, let's say, very relevant CPU, and it fits perfectly into the 1000 euro budget. For the GPU, now is the point that I'm not so happy about. We will be going with an EVGA GTX 1660. I thought this was a super. This is a regular 1660. Oh, the palette is the 1660. Oh, yeah. Welcome to the 900 euro budget PC. Motherboard will be going with the old and tested B660 PG Riptide from ASRock because it's a black motherboard. That's basically 99% of the reason. For the storage, we have a 500 gig Samsung 970 EVO Plus, because we need storage. But for the RAM, it's going to be interesting because Pinnacle, we reached out to Pinnacle, or the other way around, and they sent over their 32 gigs kit called Conduit. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Anyway, Pinnacle produces, like, I think not that much, like 4 different sets of RAMs and different speeds and capacities. And this one is the black kit, which looks very interesting. DDR4 3600 megahertz. It's a 2 times 16 gigs, so 32 gigs kit. They have RGB, they have those little spots here, which are probably lighting up, and the whole top area is lighting up. And as it is with a Ryzen CPU, you want to have the fastest memory possible. Everything above 3200 is game. So with 3600 megahertz, we are going to have a very good time. And hopefully the GPU will not just bottleneck the whole system, because I'm still a bit pissed off that we are not going with the 1660 Super that I initially planned for today. Damn it. Anyway, for the CPU cooler, we will not be going stock because we can still fit it into the budget. And now we are even underneath budget. Anyway, we are also going with Xilence piece today. We are going with the M705D, which was a surprisingly good dual fan single tower cooler, which will be completely overkill for the CPU. So yeah, I could also just not let the fan spin and the whole thing would still be quiet or even quieter, but it will still be cooler. Then we had some budget left, which now is even more budget, now that I know that it's only 1660S. This annoys me a bit. Anyway, we had a bit of budget left initially, so we fit in 2 Arctic P12 ARGB fans, one to replace the back fan, one to put in the top, just to have like a top exhaust additionally, and to have more RGB, because those kind of look like the front RGB fans, so I was fine with that. Then for the power supply, we will need a bit of imagination, because Xilence sent over a PSU, which I'm very thankful for, and I will use it. However, we will just imagine that this is the 650 watt or even below. 500 watt would still be enough. But let's say the 650 watt model, not the 1250, because you definitely do not need 1250 watts to power a GPU, which is big, don't get me wrong, and definitely not for the 5600X, so this is complete overkill. Let's just imagine that this is a 650. What is this? Oh, okay, they just give you a warning like don't daisy chain the same cable. You know, you have the one cable where you have a 8-pin and then like a little daisy chain hub and then another 8-pin. Don't do that. Use 2 separate cables. Okay, so there is not enough protection on one line or power on one line to do it, or the cables are not rated to do that. I don't know, but that's something that you should absolutely do. And yeah, that's basically it. So, although Xilence is always like a budget-y category of producer, wow, this is one hell of a fan. 80 plus gold, sure, why not? But this, again, Xilence kind of annoys me sometimes with this. Their website and their products on the website, they look so crappy. And then when you unravel them, they look very, very fine. This PSU does not look like the cheap piece of gunk that they show on the internet. They definitely need to change that. Okay, so I guess the inventory is now complete. We have the Xilence Breeze with a 5600X, a 1660 regular. With a ASRock B550PG Riptides, 2 random Arctic P12 fans. We have the new Pinnacle Conduit ARGB 32 gigs kit. We have a 970 500 gig Evo Plus. We have a Xilence M705D cooler and some random ass power supply from Xilence, which we will just imagine that it is 650 watt, otherwise this thing would be ridiculous. So let's get to it. Can we just admire for a second that there was a manual added to the case, which is basically just telling you where the RGB button is. It also will tell you that you need to press like the LED button for 3 seconds to get to the pass-through mode for motherboard control, or that you can cycle through different RGB lighting modes by just pressing it. +1 for the effort. So the case is not 100% original. I already removed the bottom hard drive cage because yeah, I don't like hard drives. If you did not knew it until now you know it. And this fan is a 3-pin, I don't know what fan, so we will not use it because it will destroy the optics. And I do love that it just says like black fan, nothing else. It says XF12025, which is like 120 form factor and 25 width. But I believe this model doesn't even exist on the product page. It's just like a throwaway fan that they throw into random ass cases. But it is a black fan. Coder reach out again and send us over this precision toolkit, which I will definitely use because it's more powerful than the, let's call it, precision toolkit that I had before. However, I mean, building PCs, you do not need those types of tools very often. And the only use case that I know of are basically M.2 SSDs, so yes, very precision, much tool. Amazing. It does kind of sound like the drill at the dentist. Not a very nice to hear sound. You see, if I do not even need to open up the manual to know what goes where, then you've done everything right. I have no clue if this is correct, but just assumptions made it. This is how you should design those things. And in case you don't know, this is not how you should do it. Please read the manual. Always read the manual. I like the fact that Pinnacle put the sticker, which I will definitely not remove, on the inside so that you don't see it because the cooler will be sitting on top. Like many companies put it on the other side. I think it's Trident Z, which do not have like a sticker but like an engraved thing. and it looks horrible. Up here you don't see it, so I don't care, which is, in my opinion, the only way to go. As much as I love the fact that I have like a gallon of this Xilent Extreme GC stuff, it annoys the hell out of me how it is packaged. Like, you have a plastic wrap that is so tight sitting against, like, from here to here, so I need to remove it, and it's a pain in the ass to do that each and every freaking time. Oh yeah, they fit perfectly with those Pinnacle RAM. Ah, everything fits perfectly today. Okay, today is a speed building day. Now we are ready to put the whole damn thing into the case, and from there this is going to be a matter of very short time. As far as the Xilent Breeze goes, we are doing exactly the type of build that it was intended to. We are not, you know, putting in... We are not, you know, putting in like an exceptionally extraordinary type of build. This is pretty much, you know, not standard, but it is not overpowering. I don't see a point in going with a 3090, because you could fit here into here a 3090, and of course it would work. But if you are spending, let's say, 3K on a gaming rig, yeah, maybe it's time to get a better case. On the flip side, however, I will never understand the type of the type of building guides where they will say, yeah, you have $1,000, let's buy a Fantex Evolve X for 250. Like, spend a quarter of your budget on a case where, because of that, you will end up with hardware which you could also fit into a shoe carton. So I just will never get behind that ideology of spending way too much on a case. I believe like a good ratio would be like, I would say 10%. If you spend a bit over 10%, I mean, you can also get a case for $1,000, one of those custom. I don't even know how a single name, to be honest. But of course you could get that type of case, and I'm pretty sure you would be very happy about that. Did they really not include most of the spacers? Yes, they did. So as I was saying, there are way too many guides out there which will tell you, get a gaming PC, build one yourself, and use $250 for a case. And I just don't see the point in that. I mean, at one point in time, I had no case. I had, that was like my time with my FX, what was it, 8320, like 8320. And I had like a Gainwatt Phenom GTX 770 double or something. It was like, there were two different versions, I don't even remember exactly, but I had no case. Not that I didn't need a case, I just wanted to spend more money on my GTX 770. So I thought, okay, let's ditch the case, and I just put everything on the box of the motherboard with the GPU like slightly hanging, something like this, you know, like the bottom PCIe slots were just hanging around, and it worked perfectly fine. The temps were very, very good, as it was just, you know, sitting free air. I will definitely go with more performance and sacrifice even the usage of a case just to get more performance, because that's what I'm aiming for. I want a better PC, not a better looking PC. What the hell is that logic for? I get that at some point you will have the budget. Like most of the builds that we do, I try to aim for like a 10% if I say budget, not go over 10% for the case, because I just don't see a point. Let's say you are building for 2.5K, which is a pretty good PC even. In that case, you would be looking at 250 euros, which would be roughly the Evolve X. So yeah, I think 10% are plus minus what I would consider as good for a budget-y build. Above that, if you are buying a 3090 Ti, I mean, at some point you just don't care about money anymore. and you will get the case that looks best in your eyes and you just don't care, which is also fine. I mean, for my personal builds, I'm at the point in life where I can do that, but go back like 3 years and I wasn't at the point where I could do that. So I would get the cheapest crap that I could find and maximize on performance. You know that you completely exaggerated on the power supply if you have everything hooked up and it looks like this. Like I could run 3 of those PCs on that single power supply. 1250 watts. Who the hell needs 1250 watts? Maybe now I can talk about it for a second. This is what powers the front fans, and I said it in the review, or I will say it in the review later today, and it annoys the crap out of me. So this is a SATA power port, which is then translated into some weird ass crap, which is then just daisy chained to all of the other fans. And what annoys me, now I need to hook this up here like this, and now we have daisy chained the crap out of this using whatever the hell this is. And if you look very, very closely, you can see that there are 3 cables coming from the SATA power to this whatever this is, where 4 are going out. So you have basically the last one, which is not even branched into anything. And I am 100% sure, and I could swear on it, but I just don't want to check it. I'm 100% sure that each of those fans is actually PWM, and you are just hooking it up to positive, negative, and the control thing. But the tacho, like the speed control thing, it is not hooked up into anything. It is daisy chaining basically nothing, like an empty signal. So the fan will just spin at 100%, and I'm 100% sure that this is exactly how this works. But whoever designed this thought, yeah, let's annoy the guy and yeah, give him this adapter instead of a regular PWM adapter. I'm 100% sure that I could just snap these cables off, solder a regular PWM header to this, connect it to the motherboard, and I will control all 3 of those fans. I'm 100% sure this is bullshit. This really does need to change. Don't ever do this again. Who the hell came up with this idea? Okay, everything is connected, everything is hooked up. Last point for today, the tiny whiny GPU that I initially believed would be a different GPU. Because I kind of played myself here. But still, it's a 900 euro budget PC. And I will just pretend like this mistake never happened. But there is one thing about the case that I very, very much enjoy. It is this hole. Like here is a hole, you will see it in the B-rolls later on. And this hole allows me to very neatly install a GPU cable, which will not look like crap. Like very often, if you have like, let's say smaller GPUs, it will look very, very weird to, when you route the cable like from the back hole, it will like fiddle through half of the case, and I believe it just looks weird very, very often. And in here you have that hole in the very front, which will not be like shorter or anything, but it will look clean or more clean than the alternative. So I believe that hole was an amazing idea, and not every case has this hole. It's a pretty new thing, I believe, because I have not seen it until now, and now all of a sudden I've seen it on like 3 different cases. Like the Montech Sky One Lite has it, this one has it, and one of the Be Quiets, I don't even know which one, should also have it. Amazing idea, absolutely. In this scenario where we are not going with custom cables, because frankly it's a budget PC, so no custom cables for here, but for people who are using custom cables, it looks amazing, or it will look much, much better than the alternative. The PC is kind of ready. This was a speed build, actually. I don't even know how long it took. Okay. Oh, amazing. I switched up the power and the reset button. Very good job. Very, very good job. Better. Okay, everything done. So I have the numbers now and let's talk about them. First off, let's start with the temperature with Firmark 1080p 8x MSIA, basically full blast on the GPU and CPU-Z, stress test running at 100% with all of the fans spinning at 100%. Yeah, so that was kind of expected. Cooling wise, yeah, let's say the M705D is a bit overkill. For the build, of course, we tested with the closed side panel to have very accurate numbers of how it would, be on the table. It's amazing. The frontal mesh piece lets so much air through. Like even now, I can feel it because those damn fans are spinning at 100% all the time. But they push quite a lot of air. I'm very happy with that. We have the exhaust in the back and then the top. Takes everything out. The cooler is completely overkill. The GPU can keep up very well. I mean, there is not much I can do about that except for, provide fresh air. But it has fresh air. It can cool itself very nicely. I'm very happy with that. Performance-wise, yeah, when I started this video, I still believed that this was a GTX 1660 Super, which is not the case. As it turns out, it's a regular 1660. I did not get scammed, I just forgot which one I bought back then. Yeah, the 5600X is just overkill for that one. It did pretty well, let's say, for the price point, because now we are looking at the 900 euro PC, so for that money you get enough performance, I guess. The only thing like up from there would be like the 1660S, which I would definitely recommend to do if you're doing a 1000 euro budget PC. But from there you have like the 3050, which will not cost that much more, but I don't see a point going from a 1660S up to a 3050. I would just go straight up to a 3070, save the money for as long as you can, and then do the upgrade and not upgrade like small paths. You will waste so much money on that. So of course the 5600X is just overkill. You could go way lower than that and do not experience any sort of bottleneck. It's just too much. But yeah, let's take a look at the benchmark. So although the performance is kind of a waste, the temperature is amazing, absolutely. And this setup with the cooler, with the fans, with the case, everything with the PSU, everything would be plenty enough for you could mount a 3070 here. It would still be amazing. You could still keep the 5600X. So in the end, considering that the prices in your region are not down yet so much as they should have, like in my region, this would be like a very good alternative, I believe, and then keep the 1660 in there, game at 1080p for as long as you can, and then upgrade to a 3080, a 3070, a big upgrade, and you can keep everything else basically. It's just the GPU that needs to be exchanged. Design-wise, I'm very happy with it. I believe the Breeze looks very fine for the price point. The mesh in the front looks very fine, but for me it's the contrast of how it looks on the website and how it looks actually if you have it in front of you. So I'm very happy how the PC turned out. I'm not so happy about the GPU, but overall, I mean, for 900 and something bucks, it's okay. I'm fine with that. But yeah, I guess this was it. I hope you enjoyed it. This was the 900 and something euro gaming PC, or the as much Xilence as I could put in their PC. Name it how you want, but it turned out fine with a different GPU. Anyway, I would like to thank you for watching, and if you have not seen the Xilence Breeze review, which I am very sure will come out before this video, go check that one out. But yeah, hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.